Hello, everyone. Thanks for having me here. I'm Misty Moon. Um, this song I wrote in 2022 when I was locked inside with COVID. Fully locked in space and time. It is dark though the sun is shine. Only darkness on my mind. Every day the sun is shine. Every day the sun is shine. For this moment I am blind, leaving all my life behind. Only pictures of the past, standing still while moving fast. Standing still while moving fast. Everything and nothing in my head, protected life or already dead. Reality perceived or understood, being as much as I ever could. I'm paralyzed and left alone in the security of my home. I am trapped but yet more free, being what I long to be. My old crazy in flames, I am breathing frame by frame. I am breathing frame by frame. Unassured and not allowed, all the plans lie under clouds. No more time, only a life. Still the clock rings 9 to 5. Still the clock rings 9 to 5. Everything and nothing in my head, protected lives already dead. Reality perceived or understood, being as much as I ever could. I'm paralyzed and left alone in the security of my home. Everything and nothing in my head, protected life already dead. Reality perceived or understood, being as much as I ever could. I'm paralyzed and left alone in the security of my home. Infinitely long and yet over faster than expected. By the time memory has faded, everything seems unfamiliar. 2022 so far.
Thank you so much, Misty Moon, for opening the evening tonight. And thank you all so much for coming. It's so wonderful to see you all here. And also, of course, a very warm welcome to everyone who's joining us via live stream. Wherever you are, thank you for being here. And thank you for being here in Graz, here in Café Erde, because I know there's plenty of great events today. So thanks for coming tonight. Who am I? I'm Lisa. I'm the editor-in-chief and the founder of Tint Journal. And so Tint goes back quite a bit at this point to 2018. And so we're now a 7th year, and Tinted Tales, we've been doing Tinted Tales sometimes once a year, sometimes twice a year, sometimes hybrid, sometimes just online during the pandemic, which the song just reminded me of a little bit. And yeah, so since we're again able to meet in person, we've been doing a hybrid way. So this is also why we have a fantastic crowd of writers joining us today, not just here, but also from basically via their biographies all over the world. Yeah. Maybe before we get to introducing the writers, just a few words on Tint Journal. Tint Journal is a literary magazine. We publish fictions, short stories, and poetry all online at tintjournal.com. And by now, I've looked it up, we've published almost 300 writers from currently exactly 80 countries. That's quite a bit. So, oh, thank you. Yes, and if you ever want to read something by ESL writers that's longer than what we publish, we have an In Conversation section where you find book reviews, interviews, and maybe your next book love is just out there. All right, so the writers of this Tinted Tales edition are Delight Edjaka, Nadir Jabur, Nastya Kowalczuk, Karo Kuba, Susmita Paul, and our open list guest Kinga Todt. So maybe you can just give a round of applause to all of them. And without further ado, let me introduce the first reader of tonight, Susmita Paul. She is from India, neurodivergent, creative, and entrepreneur. She's a bilingual writer who's been published in Tint, Karup, Montauk, and other outlets. She's also a slam poetry performer. And she's the founder and editor-in-chief of the Pinecone Review. I definitely recommend checking it out. Currently, she's working on a mental wellness awareness project called the Inkwell Project, and I have to give another shout out to that too. I've been attending 1 or 2 of your workshops and I love them, so please, if you have the time, check them out. And her current work is an experimental essay collection on grief. With Tint, she's published a flash non-fiction piece, Flares, and the short story, The River Song, which actually appeared in our anthology, which you can just find out there on our merchandise table. So Susmita, thank you so much for being with us, for having been with us for many, many years. The stage is all yours.
For me in Tinted Tales, and I'm super excited because the text I'm going to read is all about home. And the reason I found Tint was because I was missing home during COVID. And that brought me to Tint, that brought me to Lisa, and to a whole bunch of talented writers who have become very good friends, great editors, and just amazing good friends. So thank you so much for all being here. This text that I'm going to share with you has been in process, I think, for the last 40 years of my life, because it weaves in my life, my childhood in Kolkata, India, hopping across the continents with my partner in crime, Arijit, and also future collaborations with my partner in crime, my son out there, Dattatreya. So with all the love that I get from all of you, and my family, and from Tint and Lisa, I share with you the etymology of home. Home is a tunnel with sudden exits, a path that reeks of humid memories, filled with the salty air of remembrances. It feels like sandy textures of spices strewn all over childhood and youth and dreams and love that wrap the tongue that rolls the word home. It tastes like turmeric stains on the loose ends of cotton saris, 10 yards of handloom wrapped around a body smelling of baby powder and sweat. It looks like thefts of spicy pickled fruits in the blazing tropical summer. Beads of sweat mingling into tangy mango flavors, unaware of the beauty of a name that melts into the soul. As I lose count of shoes that I change as I hop across continents, new flavors of home sneak their way into life. Chilly autumn mornings, unlike the one now, chilly autumn mornings in grass wake up at my windowsill. The scent of freshly baked cakes hugs me as that body smelling of baby powder and sweat did. Stained teeth radiate life as I ride pillion across the potholes of Hanoi. On the empty beaches of Lesbos, we drink and drink and drink till there are no droplets of wine left in the sea. In the huge market halls of Budapest, I linger, weaving new bricks in the landscape of home. Home is a highway where the rolling wheels of life are free to fly. As decades melt in the cauldron of time, the winds of home keep changing, blending, and yet remaining the same all the while. Home is a festive parade where the shocking bright colors of my attire graze the mild European palette, where my drunken dance under the moonlight at Da Nang arouses a whirlwind of dreams, where the little seats of my primary school in my hometown become too small to contain the giant dragon I have become. Home is a language that I'm continuously inventing. Words from the past meet the words from the present, and together they await the words from the future. Here. These words are beaded by the thread of Liebe, bhalobasha, sarang, love. These words fly high and have deep roots. These words, this word, home, is phosphorescence, the thing that shines on the waves, twinkles on them. It carries bits of me that I leave behind, bits of me that sediment into the loose gravel of time, and bits of me strewn all over the path, before the path, from where the journey keeps on beginning. Home is a journey filled with the usual adventures, belly rumbling laughters, and heart-shattering pain. It is exactly what they say it is in my mother tongue. পায়ের তলায় সর্ষে, slippery feet that gather no moss. As I lose count of shoes, as I hop across the continents, the light from the sudden exits in the tunnels blasts through my soul. And in that light, I find my home. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Susmita. And thanks for doing the counting for me for how many times you've performed with us. Thank you. So I see people out there. Please don't be out there. Please come inside. We still have chairs. Chiara will guide your way. There's a chair up there. There's a chair here. I can move. So yeah, we will certainly accommodate you. Maybe, Susmita, could you put my laptop down? So I think we can find spaces. Okay, thank you. Okay, while we're doing the accommodation, let me introduce our next reader of tonight. This is Delight Etiaka. She's joining tonight, tonight. It's her today, it's our tonight. Because she's joining from Las Vegas, actually, where she's currently based. Delight is a writer whose works investigates melodramatic women, female hysteria, and consciousness in the marketplace. Her works have appeared in Iselem magazine, Michigan Quarterly Review, Desert Companion, World Literature Today, and Intin Journal. She was a finalist for multiple competitions, the Westnote Fiction Prize, Ray Venture Nonfiction, Frontier Global Poetry Prize, Disquiet Literature Prize, and she's a MacDowell and an Aspen Words Fellow. And we had the incredible honor to publish her short story, How to Be a Man, in our fall 24 issue. So this is Delight Etiaka joining from Las Vegas tonight.
That can be found in the Tinted journal. It is about a guy who is struggling with his relationship with his father, and he's trying to bond through football. So I'm going to read parts of the story. The first section is like setting the scene. They're in a football stadium and it's chaotic. Okay, how to be a man. The banner for the Eyimba FC versus Osun United match swayed with the wind as Obiora and Ekene approached the Thomas Balogun Stadium. Young boys sold the blue and yellow jerseys of both teams. Puff Puff, buns and ball fruit sellers carried their showcase glass, piled high with variations of fried dough. Obiora was distracted by the meat pie and egg roll sellers, closely accompanied by those hawking cold drinks. A cold Fantas would do wonder right now. He turned around to call for Ekene, but that boy was staring at a circle formed at the corner of the stadium. Obiora knew Lagos enough to avoid crowds like that, but he approached Ekene to see what the fuss was about. A colossal man clad in Isiagu cowtail and a blue Eyimba jersey raised the war chant toward football cry. Other men joined. They held each other passionately and swayed in a circle, bellowing chants while side-eyeing anyone in an Osun jersey. Nzobu nzobu Eyimba enyi. Nzobu nzobu Eyimba enyi. The crowd grew as more men joined in the chant. People pressed into each other, especially those waiting in line for tickets. There were bodies everywhere. Obiora tried to move away from the rockers, but Ekene pressed into it. He looked at everything in awe and tried to take souvenirs to send to his family back home. The boy had no common sense except a knack for trading. Obiora turned and could no longer find Ekene. The teeming crowd swelled and blocked him. He touched his pockets for his phone and remembered that Ekene did not have a phone. They brought him straight from the village to serve at Oga's car parts business for the next 7 years. A sentence Obiora was only months from completing. Since Obiora was older than Ekene in trade, the Oga placed the boy under Obiora's care and sent both to manage his new store. 7 years into his service for Oga, Obiora was finally trusted to handle a store by himself. Obiora relished the feeling of having someone wait on him. It tickled him to see Ekene running around all day, telling customers that they had the best car parts in the country. Ekene was so good at Osoa here. He cited customers from electronics in aisle 1 and convinced them to follow him to car parks in aisle 57. Earlier that morning, Obiora opened his Oga's shop for his 4th day working with Ekene. The boy talked Obiora's ear off about some football match happening later. He babbled non-stop about Eyimba FC. Madu sabi play ball, that boy na beast. Ekene went on to extol the qualities of the lead striker. Obiora knew little about the current state of the Nigerian Professional Football League. Who be Oshun strikers when my man Madu they play? Ekene rambled on. This man goes scatter field, saute, people go come out field with stretcher. Ekene, I have headache. Please close your mouth, Obiora retorted. Oga Obiora, shake body small. Now every time you go sit down, they behave like person we don't tire for life, Ekene asked. See, if you can recruit plenty customers today and we pass Oga's targets, we will go and see this match. Obiora replied, expecting the threat to buy him some peace. But Ekene jumped up and down in excitement, hugged Obiora, and ran out to find more customers. Obiora had never seen Ekene more motivated. What love for football cannot do does not exist. Ekene kept his manic pace the entire afternoon, and they passed their sales target an hour before closing. Their first customer was an Instagram baddie, the likes of whom should be propped behind the camera and not loitering the market with red pointed heels. Her sponsor was probably a senator eating more than his fair share of the national cake, so Obiora had no qualms about exploiting her. They charged her for an old AC compressor and she bought it without haggling. Baby girl, I will sell you the best car parts in this country. Ask those boys. I am Ekene, one of Umofia, son of the soil, imported to the east to meet your car needs. Ekene wrangled his face towel and smacked his lips at her. The girl swooned under his gaze and paid what they charged. Nobody could call Obiora a bad salesman, with Ekene around to do the talking. Obiora closed the shop early to keep his promise and was happy to get away from Market Square for a change. Ekene hopped around like a child who received his first game controller. Obiora used to watch football every night with his father before he died. The euphoria of being swept up in the match lost its shine after Papa came home drunk every night from the football bar. A good Igbo man is a good businessman. When Obiora was in his teens, Papa owned the biggest electronics complex in Oka, 4 warehouses housed in a massive structure. Several of his apprentice boys ran around in circles all day at his father's compound, doing osa here and bringing sales from every corner of the market. At the end of his 7-year tenure, Papa got a huge settlement from his master. He was so good at sales that customers from Cotonou and Mali came to buy from him. His master feared that Papa would poach all his customers he recruited during his service and bankrupt the business. The competition and tension was so stiff that Papa moved away from Idumota and settled east in Oka. He used his settlement money to buy the biggest electronics store in the entire city. Papa amassed so much wealth, he became the richest electronics seller in Oka. His shopping complex with 4 warehouses was always packed to the top with every electric appliance in circulation. On any given day, there was a crowd loitering outside. Papa was unanimously voted the chairman of the AK Oka Electronics Traders Association for 25 years undefeated. I'm going to stop here now, but you can read the rest of the story in Tin's journal. Thank you so much.
So thank you so much, Delight, for joining us tonight from Las Vegas. Maybe it's also noteworthy that actually the writers can see you, and so yeah, I think this is quite nice. Oh, that's lovely. Thanks for the waves. Wonderful. Okay, so at this point, I also want to give a shout out to my wonderful colleague Andrea, who usually is here with me, doing this with me, and she's also been a great help in all the organization. And right now, she's busy moderating the Zoom call and everything. But she can't be here tonight, so maybe we can also send a brief form to Andrea, our very esteemed volunteer. Perfect. If you ever would like to read one of the texts again or follow up on other texts and get inspired, whatever, please visit tintjournal.com. Most of the texts that are performed tonight are up there, free to read from wherever you are. Yeah, and so as it is the tradition for Tinted Tales, we always also invite a writer who we have not yet had the honor to publish. And this is made possible by the support of the Uni Graz Buchladen, who contribute with vouchers to this one slot. And tonight, it's really a great honor to have the fantastic Kinga Todt up here, who is not a foreigner in Graz. So she actually had the City Writer in Graz residency exactly in the year when Tint was founded. So maybe there's a coincidence. Now it is. All right, so let me introduce Kinga Todt. She's a writer, visual and sound poet, a performer, a teacher, a translator who writes in Hungarian, German and English. And she presents her work in performances, exhibitions, international installations and festivals. She's also a philologist and a teacher. She gives lectures and workshops and also works as a journalist and a copy editor of art magazines and as a cultural program organizer. Her international publications include poetry collections, visual art catalogues, novels, music records, and she joined several artist-writer residencies. And she's also a member of several art organizations, a really multi-talent up here. So Kinga Todt, the stage is all yours.
Yeah, thank you so much for this invitation, and it's always so lovely to be here. And I'm so sorry to bring such a nasty text to celebrate. It's super party killing. So I'm working now on a series of small poetry and prose or fiction about mental illnesses and chronicle, how to say, chronicle illnesses in the body or in the mind. And this text is about a man who thinks he's a crocodile. And it has also a reference to my mother country, where is already a new record. So sorry, it's really nasty from now. So my mother country has now the first position to having women killed every week. And the Hungarian government says it is happening because these men are searching for love, and this is the way how they act their love. So our crocodile man has the same problem. He thinks he's a crocodile and he has to fulfill himself with female energy. But, and now it's not that dirty, that's a wonderful film, a movie from the 90s with the very sexy Jude Law, which called also Crocodile Man. So if it's going to be too nasty, then just think about Jude Law, please. Ey, was kommt denn da? Ey, was kommt denn da? Ein Krokodil aus Afrika. Es breit sein Mund auf, es presst sein Mund auf und sagt, ich fresse die Leni auf. Aber die Leni, die sagt, nein, Krokodil, das sein, sonst die sperren dich in eine Kiste ein. Doch die Leni, die sagt, nein, Krokodil, lass das sein, denn sonst sperr ich dich in eine Kiste rein. Well, what's coming there? Well, what's coming there? A crocodile from Africa is here. Its mouth open and it says, I'll eat Leni up. So then Leni says, no, crocodile, you should know. You won't behave, in a box I'll lock you. My dangerous swarm, crocodile pose. I'll bend them, I curl them, I keep them taut. The trainer can't stretch them. I see myself in a school uniform right after they died. They were stuck on a tree from where my father was hanging upside down, like the Batman on my spine. That's when the scale started to grow. I whipped him with my tail so he could fly away, and his cloak would fall off the tree and free himself. I stamped him with my toenails on his back, like he liked before he dove under. In my swamp house, there where Maria still screams. Maria, whose disappearance was reported 5 weeks ago and now caught in a fish net. And she looked like a heap of rotten fish and chips. I wonder if my dad gonna get stuck in it in my angry teeth. The new ones feeds me by themselves. I don't tear headlines from their pretty bows. They put me off my food. I won't keep a special chapter from them in my memory book. I'm sure my father would like them, as they don't have any particular joint issues. On a certain level, everyone has 4 legs with sharp teeth at the top. The other half of the bandaged one is still sore, but the sand absorbs it in 20 minutes. No trace remains. This is where science stops. I give our newborn a globe. It's an old tradition from the 18th century. I tear out the little drawings in the corners of its notebook. I've paged through the memory book. My magnificent springy cock makes women fear me. Their fingernails caught in my magnificent springy horn. They groan heavily when I flog them and press their sorrowful heads into the sand. They pale with the tide. I take the new one to work. I x-ray them and we look for their kidney stones. Extreme emotional states can cause stones in the body. Each emotion produces a different one. I take our street attackers down with kung fu blows. One almost cuts me, but my back legs are extremely flexible. I fool him easily and knock him to the ground. My magnificent springy cock makes men fear me. Men fear my magnificent springy horn where they catch their knives. They groan heavily when I flog them, pressing their sorrowful heads into the sand. The street sings praises of my special qualities. My element of deception is futile. The love-making between us is intimate. My limbs once stretched, my tendons rearranged themselves. I find you immaculate, yet I do not bite you. It's not easy to decide what's right. With little business cards to meet with the clerk for my new bank account, where I've been collecting the remains of my loot, bequeathed to me, my only memories. I cannot have my fill of you. You are the first who won't let me. So I get mad at you and you can't suit me, so I won't bite into you. I build a bomb on my chest, try choking it, take out the plastic sheet. The surgical tray is full with fossils. I'm no longer furious, but my legs are going numb. I have now to climb to your wall and smash your window. However, the detective says in vain that once I've said you thought else makes sense. Between good and evil, there's only a moment. When I inventagely stab myself with a pencil when I'm hidden drawing you, I don't want to kill you. You choose to visit me. So from now on I can't control my spasms, my back stretches and I crouch, my thighs bulging before the jump. I shall be dead in 2 to 3 weeks. I needed the blood, the love in your blood. When I pass out, you revive me, nursing me when I go blind. When hemophilia spreads, my fingernails will smell like acetone. I get away with the murders I've committed. My dying has been lifted from the guilt. I pried the elevator door open so you believed you could get in my cave of sand and you'd be the one to escape, while I'm not a crocodile, but hungry. When I was a boy, I fell from a tree, left hanging there endlessly long, terrified. I managed to hold onto a branch, and then I fell. Now I only remember the agony of clinging on, and how wonderful it felt to finally let go. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much for sharing this text with us. We've reached our halftime. 3 riders in, 3 more to go. So we will now get into a short break. But before we do so, Misty Moon will play another song for us. And before she does so, let me just briefly tell you a little bit about our merchant stand over there. You do find our Tinted Trails anthology at this table. It's 22 bugs. It's been published in 2023 and it contains a little bit more than 30 writers actually from all over the globe who we have published either before, like as a best of, or who have also not yet been published with Tint. So please, if you have an interest, have a look at it. And as I said earlier, also one of Susmita's texts is in there. Then another tiny bit. We're very grateful to be at Café Erde. We certainly are. I absolutely love the atmosphere and everything here. And this is actually a nice one for you maybe, because every more drink that you get helps us a little bit to pay the room. So if you want to grab another drink, if you also want to grab a snack, thank you wholeheartedly from Tint to the audience. So please use this break, check out what we've got at the table. There's also some free merch, of course. Please take a bookmark, take a sticker, have a look at our postcards. Also Misty Moon's merch is up there. So yeah, please just browse through, and there's also a donation box. I should also mention the donation box. I usually forget the donation box. So please also have a look at that one. And yeah, so it's about 20 minutes. You will hear Misty Moon start again after the break. So here's one more song for you now.
I am waiting for you, waiting for you to come back home again. I am longing for your presence, longing to feel you close to me. I am longing for you. remember your smile. Remember all your words, they were so kind. And I think about the 1,000 acts you played from deep inside your heart. Oh, how I wish I could see you tonight. Oh, and I miss all your jokes and how you write. Oh, I am dreaming, dreaming of you. I am asking, I'm waiting for an answer. I'm waiting for you. Always saying, what would you do? And I'm trying to remember how you were. I'll be waiting for you, waiting for you to wake me up again. I'm expecting to hear you sing around, so terrible and lovely. Oh, how I wish I could hear you sing again. Oh, and I miss our connection now and then. Some one more cigarette to make my feelings real. Paint myself with regrets. Impossible to heal. Good or bad, I wanna feel alive, but instead I'm empty inside. Smoking in the living room, laughing about fights, trying anything, but no emotion in my eyes. Feel my fingers touch my thighs, hopelessly, as if I'm hypnotized. Whoa, 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 ba-ba-ba-da-ba. Smoke in my lungs, fluorescent blood on my arms, amorous satisfaction, painful beats and captions, with the right music in my ears.
thanks for opening the second half for us. And now, since you've heard quite a bit from Misty Moon, maybe I should tell you a little bit about her. So, Misty Moon, or Mona, is a Graz-based singer-songwriter, and she began to write and perform her own music in 2019, also about when Tint was founded. It kind of is a pattern here. Her debut album was out in 2023, and I believe this is out at the merch stand, yes. So you find this one there. And she recently began performing with a band and sometimes now appears solo or with a band on stage. So very much, thank you very much for being here solo tonight. Maybe, yeah, we can give another applause. I, of course, like to do some announcements when I have the chance. So if you're interested to get in touch with Tint, to join another event of ours, there's, of course, our Instagram account, Tint Journal. You find almost everything up there. We're also hosting, and this might now be especially relevant to those of us joining us online, because we're actually having 3 events overseas between June 25th and July 13. So if you're interested in that, if you live in the New York area, please check it out. It's all on our website in our event section. But we do also have a wonderful cooperative called Blättern with my wonderful colleague Lisa, who's here tonight. And we have an office in Graz, actually. It's in, like opposite the Alte Technik. So you can find us there. You can also find what Lisa does and what we do together on our shared Instagram account, which is Blättern Literaturbüro. So if you're interested in that as well, please check it out. All right. So that's the announcements for now. So I suggest we start with our second half. And the first rider who I have the honor to welcome to stage for this one is Nastya Kowalczuk. She's from Russia and currently based in Vienna, and she's a human rights activist and an independent publisher. She's also the co-founder of Autovirus Webzine, which publishes young authors who work with autofiction. In 2024, she co-edited and published Queer Migration, a literary scene focused on queer experiences of displacement and belonging. She's interested in the contemporary autofiction field, interdisciplinary practices, and queer literature. And we had the honor to publish her poem Mother Tongue Lend You in our Spring 22 issue. I'm really, really glad that you're here today, that you came from Vienna, so please join me on the stage.
Hi, hello everyone. Thank you a lot for coming. Thank a lot to the writers who have already read their poems. It was very nice. As you maybe heard, I'm usually more in what Lisa does usually, because I'm a publisher as well, so I'm more used to kind of hustling around, announcing, and I know how hard it is, so thank you. I mean, maintaining an independent journal is so hard, so I mean, I'm just applauding to you. Thank you for the work that you've done. And I'm going to read a poem called, I think it's a bit too high, called Mother Tongue Lend You, that was featured in 2022 spring issue of Tint. Okay. Disastrous December seemed like it was only a set piece of Russia in a Joe Wright movie. Kabaddi birches and fickle affections, vodka fumes and condensing darkness. Something inherently bad about my dreams of you. Heavy snow on your elbow not touching mine, but I'm still sure it's there. That night not a single picture turned out to be good, despite all the lovers reaching out to each other, and me giving you a love-is chewing gum solemnly, with exceptional caution. The burning of metal, the failure of my mother tongue when I call you, the buzzing of art and slow-paced violence, the sacrifices we make for our land. I am no match for these, so I put my trust in your eyes and watch you film the surroundings. What a pleasure to get to know how your body becomes the lens and sees the earth and the sky simultaneously. I'm sure Lermontov of Frank O'Hara would envy how good you are at that. When your adamant camera-like gaze focuses on me, I can only be still and wonder whether it finds my hands more interesting to film than anyone else's. Maybe if we make a movie out of that, it would conquer Sundance, it would be a breaking hit of the East European queer cinema, and then maybe it would be easier for me to talk with and about you in my mother tongue. Maybe soon I will write the very best poem about how my words and love for you are the same thing that can stop our land and my hands from shaking and bring sparkling peace to our birthplace. A big, tired, and heavily breathing animal, but probably not, probably not, probably not. Edited in February 2022. Yeah, so to maybe give a bit of context about the poem, it's kind of sad, but the story behind it is a bit fun. I was writing it very tipsy, sitting on the steps of the bar. I was 23 at the time and fallen in love with somebody, and I had this new job in a museum that I really loved. And I was celebrating with my coworkers. It was like late November 2021, I think. Snowing, like everything is very moody, and the Christmas lights are up, and everyone is chatting, and I'm being like in the corner typing something in my phone, being very dramatic about this love that I have, and I don't know if it's going to work out or not. So, and somehow, I don't know why, but maybe it was obvious, but something, some darkness also popped in there somewhere. And I sent it out to Tint, I think maybe in December 2021. And then in 2022, in February, my home country, Russia, invaded Ukraine. And in March 2022, I heard back from Tint saying that the poem is going to be published. And to be honest, I could not care less back then. I stopped believing in like poems and art and words. But now I understand that maybe it's not the best way to treat what we do as poets, artists. I understood it a bit later, but I think that it's very important to keep writing, even when it doesn't seem like it's necessary or possible. And I'm also married to the person that I wrote this about, so maybe it's not that useless after all. And I'm going to read just a bit new stuff that is untitled, and that's it. Sorry, how immature of me. I was thinking about how to describe this eerie, gloomy inability to speak, to enunciate, to claim, to gibber, standing in the middle of Neubegasse. Exhausting, blood-serving cafes, sunlit trash, stuffy glory. And I stumbled upon a phantasm, a tongue, stuck to the ice-cold metal, child's awe and appetite to lick the frozen swing. It's European spring. I am covered in snow. Today I read in the new Barskova book «Я осталась жить с языком, прилипшим к замерзшим чугунным оградам того города», and grief kissed my mouth shut. The body turns to stone, becoming another brick in the wall of a lost empire. The dead are not speaking to me as they reach their arms through the cobble. And another one. Tears took shape of thoughts, and paper boxes stayed dry after seeing all of the backs shadow away. Today, after 5 months, Lazarus landed on the windowsill, which it hasn't done before. The thought of Frank O'Hara Poems' book in the father's corner of basement, cocooned inside pitch-black darkness and piss of childhood animals, pierced through the gray of day. My beloved boy, I beg you do not go with your mornings and drinks and beaches and innuendos and deaths and flutes. Promise me to glow through the stitches of tape, through the years of hollow detachment, approaching recession, through the ages I wear like gloves. Look at me speaking of you like it's 2021 all over again, and my speeches and dreams are soaked in boneless innocence. My beloved boy, I don't think you wrote about war crimes and guilt and how to talk to your family when you're so far and so apart. But if someone knows me, it's you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And thanks for keeping on writing. Yeah. All right. So, as Nastia just told us of her story to get published in Tint, maybe there's another announcement I need to make. Because we're currently open again for submissions for our 14th issue under the theme of patchwork. And you might be wondering why I've been holding this thing here all the time. This is actually our open call. You find it in proper A4 format here on this little pillar and also outside at our merge table. So if you're interested in submitting, if you're a writer yourself, please do so. We're open until May 31st. So there's a few more days to go. If you have something on patchwork, that's now maybe good to get out of the drawer. Um, if you do not feel comfortable of sharing anything on patchwork with us, we do accept writing on ESL literature the entire year through. So if you want to review a book for us, if you want to interview this author that you've always been this amazing fan of and you really want to get a hold of them, then maybe this is your chance. So if you're interested in that, Chiara is actually here. She's our editor for this section together with Andrea. So if you're interested in contributing this way, you can find her at the merch table as well. All right, so before I keep talking and talking, let's welcome the next writer who is actually joining us from Canada tonight. Nadia Chabour is an Iraqi-Canadian writer from Montreal, Canada. An operational excellence teacher and coach by trade, he devotes much of his spare time to reading and writing to maintain a degree of balance and sanity in his life. Being an avid reader of philosophy, Nadir loves to blend existentialist themes into his writings. And we have had the incredible honor to publish his short story, The Uberman, in spring 24. So here is Nadia for you.
Lisa. I think also to, I think Lisa, you nailed it. You pronounced Montreal the way it's supposed to, and also thank you to Andrea and to all the others, other readers that preceded me. I think it's really inspiring to see other ESL writers and performers and be inspired by them. Also, I'd like to thank everybody for basically making it socially acceptable for me to have a glass of whiskey this afternoon. It's our 2:30 here in Montreal. Just before getting started, I tried to do a Google walk around the Cafe Erde just to break the ice, but unfortunately there was a massive construction site in front on Google Earth, so I didn't really get to know much. I looked up famous people that were born or raised in Graz, and I could see that Arnold Schwarzenegger is associated with Graz, but unfortunately it doesn't seem like he was born there. And by complete coincidence, I saw that Franz Ferdinand, the man whose death started World War I, was actually from Graz. So I guess Graz is associated with massive change for better or for worse. So to get to the point, my story, The Uberman, it's inspired by Nietzsche, who I have a little doll of here. Sorry, I dropped my papers. Um, Basically, I was really intrigued by the fact that our society has to a large degree become Uberized. We have Uber everywhere. While at the same time, it was Nietzsche that really popularized the term Ubermensch and what it means to overcome our human condition. So briefly, I'm going to introduce to you part one. Part one, we have Z. He's a major in philosophy who basically lost his job as a journalist at a local newspaper and lost his wife at the same time. And it's Christmas Eve, and he's an Uber Eats driver, and he lands a dream order of $2,000 from one of the fanciest restaurants in Montreal. So I don't know when was the last time you ordered $2,000 from Uber Eats, but he does the calculation, and that's about $400 tip. So he has to make the delivery no matter what, because he needs to pay his rent and he needs to basically buy his daughter her dream Lego set for Christmas time. So in part one, we see him going to the restaurant, meet the other Ubermen, Ali Reza from Iran, Mr. Wong from China, and Papa Jean from Haiti. So he picks up the order, and now I'm going to start with part two. So what has been a sprinkle of snow when I'd arrived at the restaurant was now a full-blown blizzard. I sat in my Camry, which at that point looked more like an igloo on wheels. I had to stay level so Kevin's gold-plated Tajima Wagyu would arrive on time, level, and cooked to perfection. People like him earned their right to a quality contactless handoff, to a Merry Christmas in the comfort and security of their homes among their distinguished guests. People like me delivered, on time and at the right temperature, cheerfully, jovially, with season's greetings. My car wouldn't start. The battery was fully drained. CAA and all the other taxi companies said they needed at least half an hour to get to me. The only hope I had left with my Uberman. I dialed, I texted, then I dialed again. No answer. The Wagyu box was cooling fast, so I covered it with my jacket, toque, and gloves, anything I could lay my hands on. I rested my forehead on the wheel and kept dialing. In the corner of my eye, I could see the fluorescent Amor Fat bumper sticker on the side mirror. The I in fatty had faded a long time ago. It had been Lou's first birthday gift to me, gifted along with a dozen other shiny Nietzsche stickers like Die Übermensch and Gott ist tot. With 15 minutes left on the clock, I received a message from Kevin, my customer. I see you on the map and you're not moving. What are you waiting for? He saw that I'd seen his message, but there was nothing to be said or done. An Uberman embraces the ugly and turns it into the sublime. My phone rang out, the ride of the Valkyries. It was Ali Riza. Where are you? I asked. Excuse me. Picking up an order from the subway on Côte Saint-Luc. I'm with the guys. Why? My battery's dead, Ali. I won't make it. And, he said after a few seconds, help me, please. There were muffled sounds in the background. I could make out Mr. Wong's voice, but not the words. The exchange lasted a good minute. Stay in the car, we're coming, Ali Riza said at last. 5 minutes later, they were there. Ali Riza offered to give me a boost. We won't make it, I said. You have to take me there. I carried the package, making sure that it was well wrapped in my jacket. Mr. Wong ceded his place to the boxes, which we laid out gently on the fully reclined front seat. The three of us squeezed in the back, with Papa Jean practically sitting on my lap, resting his fused bones firmly against my belly. The floor was littered with soggy sandwich wrappers, renegade fries, and mayonnaise packets. We were 4 blocks and 5 minutes out when a large snowbank appeared before us in the middle of the road, blocking our path. Ali Riza stopped abruptly. Go on sidewalk, shouted Mr. Wong. I'm not even on winter tires, Ali Riza explained, addressing me squarely. Please, Ali, I begged. He backed up, then swerved onto the sidewalk and slammed the gas. We plowed through fresh snow for several seconds before the charge of Ali's Nissan Micra was brought to a halt. Fuck, Ali Riza said. Black ice, Mr. Wong muttered. Ali Riza tried the reverse and advanced technique a few times, but the car wouldn't budge in either direction. That was when the old man put on his faded Cuban hat and crawled over our knees to the side door. Pouchez, pouchez, he urged us once he got outside, gesturing with his bulgy rheumatic fingers. We shoved the car for a while, rocking it backward and forward in its icy cradle, trying to correct the course of fate, while Ali Riza maxed out the RPM on the wheels, smothering us with grey sludge and white smoke, to no avail. Papa Jean began to cough violently, so Mr. Wong tried to wrap him in his jacket. The old man pushed him aside, he grabbed his metal crutch and hopped through the snow up to the front of the car. We hurried to his aid, scooping snow with our bare hands while he wedged the crutch across the base of the wheels. After this, he signaled to Ali Riza to drive. The car seemed to gain some traction as he accelerated. On the third try, it leapt forward. We got back in, leaving the crutch behind as per its owner's strict command. When we reached our destination, we were 12 minutes late. I carried the lukewarm boxes, steadying them against my soaked white shirt while Mr. Wong sheltered me from the snow. I rang the bell and left the contactless delivery on the Home Sweet Home doormat. When I messaged Kevin with an apology, I messaged Kevin with a detailed apology and a detailed explanation of the acts of God that had befallen me, adding that I would completely understand if he chose to cancel the order altogether. He read the message but never replied. I lingered for a couple of minutes, standing at the edge of the staircase in the falling snow, With my arms by my sides, through the half-shut blinds, I made out a woman in an elf costume backlit by a TV. She hovered around in silence. Then a shadow of a man approached the front door. Through the stained glass, I could see that he was wearing a Santa mask and a red velvet robe. He gazed at me for a while, then glanced downwards as if to text. A message came in from Kevin. "Get off my porch," it read. "Mr. Kevin, so sorry to bother you," I said, louder than I would have liked to. "I just wanted to explain the situation to you." He began shooing me off, gesturing repeatedly behind the closed door. I climbed down the stairs quickly before turning around and facing him again. The door opened, and he snatched the boxes with slender, soft fingers before slamming it shut. I stood my ground for a minute, occasionally staring at my reflection in the icy pool at my feet, straightening my hair and scratching my beard compulsively. He never returned. We headed back to my car in a calm interrupted only by Papa Jean's whooping cough and the pinging of phones. A Facebook notification came in. Lou had posted a picture of all of them sitting under a big organic tree, their tummies filled, their feet buried under gift wrappings and empty boxes. Soraya had the biggest smile of the lot. She held what undeniably looked like the fully assembled Hogwarts Express Lego set. "Santa delivered," read the emoji-heavy comment, which was rapidly gaining in popularity. 42 likes and hearts in few minutes. "Value added Dave, delivering yet again, this time with my wife, with Soraya." Then Uber sent me the message. "Dear driver, we would like to provide you with an update regarding order U4213. The customer, Mr. Kevin S., has logged a formal complaint with us. He claims that you deliberately delayed the meal handoff and that you threatened him physically. We take such allegations very seriously. As a precautionary measure, your Uber accounts have been suspended pending further investigation. Thank you for your understanding." I read it over a few times. He left no tip and gave me 0 for communication, efficiency, and delivery with care. Mr. Wong requested an update. "Nothing yet," I said. "These things take time." My mind wandered back to Kevin's townhouse, back to his doorstep, back to his carefully choreographed date with that elf. I saw myself devouring the gold-plated wagyu, tearing it in half with my teeth, while heavenly umami oozed down my throat, melting away like butter. I imagined the old man meticulously peeling off the tiny gold leaflets and stuffing them into his side pockets, while Mr. Wong and Ali Riza drenched the premium Pacific salmon and bluefin tuna with Heinz ketchup and mayonnaise. And at the end of it all, I fantasized about taking a massive dump right in the heart of that glossy box and tossing it in the face of that oh so comfortable last man's face, to the horror of his indistinguishable guest. The Daily Witness's headline would read, "Local Uberman delivers Uber shit on Christmas Eve." Thank you.
Thank you very much, Nadir. And I'm really
Thank you.
glad that Tint could brighten up your afternoon today. That's very good to hear. Thank
Cheers.
you. Cheers. Yeah, and if you kept track, we are actually just before our last reader of tonight. And I did not do this on purpose when I did the timetable for today, but I just realized we started with a familiar tint face. We're going to end with a familiar tint face, which is just lovely. I absolutely love this. So please welcome with me on stage Caro Kuber. She is a designer, an ESL poet, and a performer, sometimes all spontaneously and simultaneously. She lives in Vienna, and she's currently a student, and you just told me you're finishing up at the University of Oxford. She has won and been shortlisted for a number of international writing awards, and her work has been published by the Frankfurt Book Fair, Tint Journal, and others. And in Tint, you can find 3 of her poems. My Spine's Topography, Cicada Girl, and The Dust Never Settles. So thank you very much for being here, for closing the evening for us. Yeah, the stage is yours.
Thank you so much, and in general, thank you, Lisa, and dear Tint team. I owe you a part of the favorite aspect of my life. Thank you. So I brought to you two poems. One has been featured in Tint, which would be The Dust Never Settles, and another one that has been published in an anthology a few years ago, but they share a few aspects, mostly the idea of sayings and folklore and storytelling and its translation into the contemporary when talking about unvoiceable things. So I'll start with mapping nightmares. Eating fruit from the forest will turn you into little birds, my grandma used to say, while stretching the rumbling white belly of the orange cat draped across her lap, strategically placed, startling me and my sisters, busy lacing our hair with ribbons, and what else we could find between cushions and cupboards. It was always like that, like she was living in a world full of wonder, introducing us to the parts we could not seem to see, to the parts that, according to her, could most definitely see us. Through mossy lashes, lurking just beneath the surface, with long fingers still dripping from the last child that dared to play too close to the riverbank's edge. Through keyholes and windows left ajar, if we dare forgot to lock the door and seal the glasses, once dawn started to drape her silver skirts across the mountain bridge. Through cracking lids and fireplaces, with soaring hands and soaring voices. You can hear them if you listen close enough. Me and my sisters quietly assembled around the inglenook like tiny red-cheeked coven. Shh, don't say that word too loudly. If they hear you, there will be more doors to close than to open at this place. My grandma, weaving a net of ghost stories to catch her thoughts from slipping into throwing rocks and climbing trees with words like prayers and tiny little pinky promises. Though sometimes they managed to escape. Like when we went to war against the trees, draped in the finest curtain armor we could find, equipped with strong and sturdy branches as our weapons. We could not yet see the irony in that. Me and my sisters, with hammering hearts, so focused on our task that we could barely hear her voice over the sound of war, high and shrill like a banshee from the balcony. It was not superstition stitched into her frown when we did not scrape our dinner plates until they squeaked. She never feared the bad weather. It was another kind of storm we conjured, rolling like thunder over the lands, wiping out what could not hide at the count of 3. My grandmother was no woodland girl. She was raised beneath the citadels of mother's sorrow on ashes and eggshells, eaten up and spat out before she even knew how to ride a bicycle, the shards of a long-gone life still nesting in between her crow's feet. But she never told us those stories. Only later, when the pictures from the books we read in class began to be replaced by names and numbers, did we begin to puzzle it together, slowly coding the monsters to the memories. My grandmother, ripped out by the roots but blooming anyways, blooming despite it all. Lacing our minds with ghost storying, watering us with spit, split lips, blowing blessings behind our little children's ears, with every word, every story fueled with a protection spell, collaging a passe-partout of nightmares to draw a line for me and my sisters between us and the water and the forest and herself. shielding us from the true heat of her fevered dreams, only singing us to sleep with the tiniest flame's lullaby, hoping some of her words would leave edges in our minds to stumble upon every once in a while and remember. My grandmother, our grandma, here's a map. A scary one, for sure. But a map that was a love letter, after all. Thank you. Thank you so much. And now to the last poem, the one that had the honor of finding a delightful home in Tint. It was inspired by a somewhat burning hate for sayings that are spoken to say something. The dust never settles. You can almost watch them colonize your kitchen, filling up the space, indecisive of where to go. Better wait for the dust to settle until you take your next breath. But it never does. The dust does not stay seated as long as your lungs still conjure storms into the living room. It moves with you, mirroring and swaying in the setting sun, vanishing from sight with the light no longer reflecting those tiny particles. And oh, how fast they turn from tiny dancers to woven nets, catching each other by their hands and laying rest on cushions and counters as soon as you close the door, awaiting your arrival, cowering like kittens, lingering, longing for the echo of your feet to lift the veil. And oh, how they fly, motionless wings, carried by storms or dropping from the skies, the trees' shagged up furs turned gray by the passage of your patience. Never truly ready for the dust to settle.
Thank you so much for closing our writers tonight. So we've come to the end. There always is an end at Tinted Tales, unfortunately. But if you, like me, just would like to go on forever and ever, you can find the live stream again on our YouTube channel. You can also find the live streams of our past events on our YouTube channel. It's very easy, youtube.com/tintjournal. You find it all up there. So if you find an interest, leave us a like maybe as well. This is also a kind of reminder from my end for our current open call. Please check it out. Deadline is May 31st, a few more days to go. And please follow us on social media and just stay connected. We always love to hear from our readership. Drop me an email, info@tintjournal.com, whatever channel feels right for you. We're happy to engage with you. So this is, of course, also the time where I thank, and I really have an honor to thank everyone who helped me put this together tonight. So first of all, please put your hands together for the amazing writers, Delighted Jaka, Nadia Chabu, Nastya Kowalczuk, Karo Kuba, Susmita Paul, and Kinga Todt. Please put your hands together for all of them. I'd also like to very much thank Misty Moon Mona for being our musical guest tonight. Many hearts go out to Andrea Färber. As I already said, she could not be here today, but we're sending very warm wishes to you. Thanks also to Chiara Mites for doing the merch stand and everything else you do with Tint. For the amazing tech support, Sarita and Ronnie, it's always a pleasure working with you. Photos were taken by Manuela Scherkel. You find her as Kaviar und Wurstsalat on Instagram. Of course, many thanks to Café Erde for having us, also to our supporters Land Steiermark, Stadt Graz, ÖH Uni Graz and Uni Buchladen. And without the audience, projects like Tint, I'm sure Nastia you know this, projects like any kind of cultural projects could not survive. So thank you for coming and thank you for watching online. All right, so Misty Moon will play one more song for us. And then please feel free to hang out. Kind reminder, have another drink. Say that you were at the reading when you're ordering downstairs. We can also use this space, I think, until 10 p.m. I'm never sure about this, or maybe 10:30. We will find out when the kind people from Café Erde tell us to move out. So please hang around, chat with us, and it's been an honor to do this tonight. Thank you. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you again for having me, and thanks, Lisa, for your amazing moderation and everything. You're awesome. And of course, thank you for organizing, and thank you guys for listening so carefully. That's so nice. My song is called You. I'm not allowed to tell you how miserable I am. I thought everything would change, but my problems are still the same. I guess it's not a coincidence. Never been so tempted to escape inside my dreams and thoughts. The challenges of reality, I want to hide inside of my imagination, pretending that it's worth it. Then again, it's you. It keeps me from going crazy. I know that time is hard. You are so suffer, maybe more than me. In all my loneliness, you give me the strength to keep on going again and again. Why are you still my biggest fan? I have to, and I need to, and I want to. But why can't I just be? It's always inside of me that I need to change. You tell me I am good as I am, and I can't stay the same. I need you to tell me again. I really can't believe you. Can you convince me that it's true? Again, again, it's you. You say it's okay to be lazy. I know that times are hard. You are so suffer, maybe more than me.
when we walk together. Let me tell you this: nothing else matters in the end.
Thank you so much.